But with this program, you can actually, with the premium version of this thing, you can broadcast live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all simultaneously.
Well,
So that would be kind of cool.
I want to broadcast on Twitch. I don't know what the hell that is, but I want to do that.
I want to broadcast on MySpace. Is that possible?
No. Maybe. MySpace might still exist. I don't know.
MySpace does exist in some form, but I forgot my login name, and I'm sure my email, that Hellord email, I can't access it anymore. So.
Probably not. Shut up, Winston.
Okay. Wow. Pussy.
God. This cat's going to drive me nuts.
So we're live on YouTube for the very first time in a while.
Oh, damn it. I'm going to throw something at this cat.
You tell that damn cat to shut its mouth.
Winston.
The creepy Kentuckian is speaking.
He's gone, I hope. He'll probably be back in about 30 seconds.
You tell that cat that I've dealt with your pussy ass for 20, 25 plus years.
Fuck you.
And I can't deal with another one.
Buddy, I'm the one that brought all the class to the show. Everybody knows that. Grace.
And you were the star of Uncle Bill Goes to College, aka Into the Pit.
That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was all yeah.
I mean, we've reminisced a lot about that documentary, but I feel like that it probably could have taken a different direction. Here's
something else we can do too, Uncle Bill. Look at this. Joe Bob Tarheel. Hey guys. What's going on, Joe Bob? I'm thinking that's our good buddy Joseph Perdue.
So
that fucking cat. Spur Gear says y'all look great. Well, thanks.
God damn it. Are you shitting me with this thing?
Pick up that little son of a bitch and
hold on. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna fucking grab my bald pussy real quick. Oh, son of a bitch.
He does have a bald pussy. Look at that. That wood paneling right there just sets it off.
Talk shit about the paneling.
That paneling's off the chain, man. That shit lasts forever. If the one thing's for sure, like if this coronavirus takes us all out, 50 years from now, there'll still be houses with that wood paneling in it. I can guarantee you.
Buddy, I'm gonna tell you something about
there might not be anybody living in them.
I'm gonna tell you something about Eastern Kentucky, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something about Eastern Kentucky. Them motherfuckers love their paneling. Like back in the 80s. There wasn't nothing better.
Yeah. That does say it kind of does set off like a retro horror room type deal.
Oh God, look at that shit.
Got your collection on.
There's our reward. You see that?
Yeah,
you still got that, you son of a bitch.
Hang on, I'll show you.
Yep. I got the matching one right over there. You can see it on the shelf. Don't pay attention to the porn.
There's my award, buddy. I got one too.
Yeah. Look at that. And if you'll notice right there by the award, that is the... I know you remember this too. If you look beside the award over there, you can see the what is it? Witchboard. You know what?
What was that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If you look beside the award too, you can see the Kevin Tenney thing that he sent, the Witchboard Ouija card there.
Oh yeah, they
you remember that?
Anchor Bay included that in the DVD.
Yeah.
Something like, I don't know if that was that the DVD thing or is that something that he sent you?
That's something he sent like back when we were still writing to people and got all the shit back. He sent a ton of shit. Like he's probably one of the ones that sent the most stuff even before we knew him.
It's odd that you mentioned that because well, we're kind of surrounded by shit. Like over here. Got some DVDs and more masks and over there posters, everything else. I was talking with a couple of guys that it would be, and we were reminiscing about the JDog DVD Dungeon promo that we cut on his ass 10 years ago. It's been over 10 years ago since that happened.
What the fuck happened with that? I can't even remember now.
Poster video series. That was where we had called out, we'd called Oot JDog. Well, no, JDog had called us Oot. And he said, I want to see everybody from the Dead Pit message board post all of your horror collectibles and all that. And I'm calling you all Oot. And of course, this guy's Canadian and he's from way up in bumfuck, like northern Canada, where it's about 4 degrees in the summertime. So
I'll never do that again, by the way. You know how long that shit took?
That did take a while. I think we did, it was 9 parts. Was it 9 parts or?
I thought it was like 12 parts or something like that. I know it was like took forever. Maybe
it was. I don't know. So we have lost Uncle. No, you're back. We're back.
I'm here.
So the reason is though is it would be a good concept for a live show if this works. It's kind of like a trial run to bring out and have a couple other people on here that are big collectors, and each of us bring 2 or 3 items with cool stories behind them, and it's like a showcase, horror collectible showcase. Not necessarily, it could be posters, could be masks, could be laser death baby, could be just something autographed.
That would be a good idea.
I think that'd be a cool concept, and I know that Garrett, good friend of mine, he's been wanting to do some sort of video for a long time anyway. And Al is another one that's got some amazing, like crazy shit. And those 2 guys are down for it. And I'm not sure what date we're going to set for it yet, but I figured that might be something that you'd be down for as well.
Yeah, something I was noticing when I was going through all my stuff, like all the really killer cool shit that I have, I mean, the stuff that I really think is like the best stuff, all came from Felsher. Like every damn bit of it, I think.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that as well. Like as far as autograph stuff, and just like I've got some crazy shit that it's somewhere in the closet in there. Poster stuff that I've never put up.
Yeah.
I've got from the UK that's autographed by Leslie Nielsen. I somehow got that. So that from Felcher, of course.
Oh shit! I forgot to tell you something. Actually, now would be a good time to bring this up too. So apparently, Dad was going through his building over there, the building he plays music in and everything, and he found the Hell Lord notebook that for some reason has a signed photo of Butch Patrick, and like every song we ever did has the lyrics and the chords and all that shit transcribed into it.
Well, that just means that we've got to relearn all those songs and do a live Hell Lord concert at some point.
Dude, do you have any idea how weird it is to open that up and the first thing in there is the signed fucking picture of Butch Patrick? It's like Eddie Munster.
Hey,
I was like,
that's a good place for a Butch Patrick autograph. That guy's still alive too, isn't he?
I wonder if I don't know where the hell I put it. Like I brought it in. If I had that thing, it's like the funniest shit ever. Fuck, where is that? Anyway, I'll find it by the next time we do a show.
We'll do another one, too. And it might, like I said, we might learn all these songs again, and we can do a live Hell Lord show on YouTube.
Do an acoustic, like fucking Hell Lord show.
It doesn't even have to be acoustic. You got your drum sets and shit hooked up.
That's true. They're set up there.
My God.
Isn't that the weirdest shit though? Like that all that was tabbed out and everything.
Yeah, that is kind of odd. I don't even remember doing that. It's like I come up with the damn thing. I can't remember, like, you know.
I mean, we're talking like it's old. Like we had to have been doing that. You had to have done that. Jesus Christ.
It's probably been 20 years ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
Close to it, you know. What year
anyway,
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyway, that's just a interesting tidbit. I thought that he found that.
Yeah, so we got Indy Phantom on here. Now that's a name from the past.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
Let's see. Show you how high tech we are here. He says, I do like which idea was that? I don't know. I don't even remember. We've got so many ideas.
I think it was the idea of doing the like memorabilia display stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be a cool concept for a show on a Friday night when nobody can get out and drink, and even you can't even get out and go get any damn thing to eat anymore. You can't go to Allen Subway, Uncle Bill.
That's what I was thinking, man. Like, although if you heard that story, apparently the woman from Subway that tested positive was the girlfriend of the guy that worked at KFC that tested positive. So that's how that panned out.
Well, you heard that the guy that worked in KFC, he jacked off into chicken grease. So who knows? Who knows how many people that little son of a bitch infected?
I hadn't heard that.
He lived up on Cliffside, I heard.
Oh, God. They're going to be eat up with the corona.
Indy Phantom again says Pizzelle just ended his sausage factory group, and I think they're doing a soft reboot. They do a soft reboot of a podcast. That's what we're doing. We're doing a soft reboot.
I like to look at it more as like a reimagining of what the show should have been.
I don't know who that is, Joe Bob. Let's see here. Andy Phantom, he says, I've got some stuff from Felcher. One time I won the contest you guys had. He sent me a complete Master of Horror season set.
That does piss me off, man. We used to be like constantly in the loop getting all kinds of shit like that.
Yeah, there's one particular item I just thought of that I got from Felcher that I may showcase on that show if we do it with G Money and Pizzelle.
I'll tell you this though about all that shit with Felcher and stuff. The two main collectibles that I have are both from Dawn of the Dead, and I both got them from Felcher. And I have no idea why he decided to sell the shit that he did, but I'm glad he did in a way.
Yeah, and Sean Clark's actually doing these auctions. I mean, I haven't checked any of his shit out just because I don't want to spend money, and I've got enough shit. I've got so much shit that I'm trying to actually sell myself on an auction I had on here and eBay, so I don't need nothing like that.
Well, here's I would imagine Sean Clark stuff's pretty goddamn expensive.
Yeah, that's it too. So, yeah.
So we didn't really have an idea for what the hell we were going to talk about, but you had mentioned like a couple different things.
Yeah, I mean, I figured we was going to do just a kind of a trial run, going to be a short little thing to make sure everything's working on here. And, we do have some banners made already that we can use. Let's see. Check this one out right here. I got that. So we're just testing everything out tonight, mainly. And then we'll start doing, shows, I guess. But yeah, I mean, a couple of things. Look at that.
Oh,
so yeah. Let's see. I can even cut Uncle Bill completely out of it, buddy.
Fuck you, you son of a bitch.
I ain't that way. I'll put you back into it. But just to brag about how high tech we are, because Streamlord, or no, StreamYard, sorry.
Streamlord.
We are the Streamlords. So, one quick thing I wanted to mention on here, though,
Look at this.
Is
Yeah.
what you got there? Is that Godzilla?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Look here.
Did it just squirt out of your dick hole?
It did. That's how it comes out of me through my dick hole.
Through my dick hole, boy.
I don't know why I have that.
Yeah.
There it is.
So, we got a few people in here now. We can start rolling with, one of the big, we talked about WrestleMania. Let's see here. Andy Phantom again says, what did you guys think of WrestleMania? We talked about that briefly. I thought it was like, it's not WrestleMania. It wasn't, basically. I mean, it was called WrestleMania, but it's what they've been doing.
Yeah. It was as if like you took WrestleMania and made it like direct to stream or something. Like they had all the different little vignettes played out, and that was really the best part of the whole show. Sadly, I can't watch wrestling with no audience, man. There's something about it that just is really depressing.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, with WWE right now is it's kind of like they've got these TV contracts, and I guess they just feel like they're forced that they have to keep doing this shit. But this past week, a week ago today, I think when we're recording this, or we're not recording, by God, we're live. We're all the way live. Is they released, like it was the biggest release day ever. They did like, how many was it? Like 20. It was close to 20 wrestlers that were released from their contract. Yeah. A lot of the trainers and all that were furloughed. And there was some really surprising ones on there. Like a lot of them weren't that surprising, and I figured we would go through them and talk about that briefly, because that was sort of a big deal. WWE used to be a tradition every year after WrestleMania, they would release a batch of people, but they haven't really done that in a few years, actually.
There was a thing too, and Cornette was talking about it, where like they're one of the only companies that actually did that too. Like even the ones like New Japan and places like that were paying the wrestlers still, even though they weren't doing any shows or anything. And WWE took the opposite approach, which was they're still doing shows, and they just fired like a shit ton of people, even though they've got like $500 million supposedly that they could like play with. They still fire everybody.
There's a lot of these people where I'm not really like, they wasn't doing anything with them, but there was some of them that were surprising. Like the biggest ones to me was Gallows and Anderson, because they were just on WrestleMania in a pretty big spot in that Boneyard match. And they had just signed them, I think, a few months ago to a long-term contract.
They signed them to a $750,000 contract to keep them from going anywhere else. That's exactly what they said. And then they turned around after they couldn't go anywhere else and fired.
Yeah, it's like, no, we don't need you anymore. Go home. There's nowhere to work right now either. So
that's the thing. They completely screwed them.
Those were the two big ones. And because like I said, they just signed those guys. There's a Kurt Angle. He was just working kind of backstage. They released him. That's not a big surprise.
I think Rusev was kind of surprising. That one I was kind of like,
that one, yeah. I mean, it was kind of surprising, but he was wanting out of the contract for a while there, I think. So maybe they just. Did you see the? They didn't. They just granted the Revival their releases like a day before all those guys were fired. And did you see the images that surfaced about like the gimmicks they were going to give those guys? Like when I first looked at it, I was like, "There's no way that could be real." But of course, it was. They had confirmed that was legit, like pitches that they had.
I don't even know how to explain it if somebody hadn't seen it. But imagine like Willy Wonka or something, or like Dr. Seuss characters, and that's kind of what it looked like that they wanted to do.
Yeah,
like some sort of comedy angle.
Yeah, it kind of looked like you remember the fuckers in that Hook movie?
Yeah,
it kind of looked like Captain Hook's like henchman or
it did.
So let's see some more releases though. Drake Maverick, not a big surprise. They weren't really using him very much. EC3, I hadn't seen him on there, and that was almost as soon as they signed him, they weren't using him. Leo Rush is a little bit of a surprise because he was just recently the cruiserweight champion. He's pretty good too. He's a good wrestler and a good talker. But not a huge surprise. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, that's kind of a surprise just because, well, Kurt Hawkins was released before. Zack Ryder has been there for like 14 years or something. He's never.
That just surprised me because like they've never done shit with him. They've always tried to bury him, but he's always been pretty popular, especially online. And he's actually got a podcast about like fucking collecting wrestling figures. It's one of the more popular podcasts out there.
Yeah, it's almost like a commercial for the WWE Mattel figures. So
yeah,
you would think like those guys probably aren't making like large. I mean, I'm sure they're making good money, but it's probably not anything crazy. So I was kind of surprised. But yeah, Zack Ryder's like he's best friends with Cody Rhodes. So I'm sure he'll be in AEW before too long, whenever they get started back. So Eric Young, no surprise.
No.
I forgot he was there actually. Heath Slater, not really surprised. He hasn't been used in a long time. Kind of surprised by Sarah Logan just because she's so young and she's pretty good in the ring. She's not got like a good character going or anything yet, but I think that she would be a good get for AEW because their women's division sucks.
Yeah, and wasn't she like one of the only women that was actually fired? I thought that was weird too.
I think she was the only one that was fired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was Maria.
Oh shit! Yeah.
She's not really a wrestler though, so
I can't figure out why the hell they brought her back, man. I still couldn't figure that out.
I know. So let's see. Mike Chioda, who was one of the referees that's been there since the 80s. And they got rid of him. That was very surprising.
Yeah, I think for number one, why would you fire a fucking referee? Like, how expensive can a referee be? But number two, like, he had to be the referee that had been there the longest. Why wouldn't you fire anybody else? Here's what I think, though. Some of them guys, man, and you can hear, like, I was listening to a podcast about this. Some of those guys, they make actual employees, and some of them are like independent contractors. And the ones that are actual employees get all the benefits and the insurance and the shit like that. So it might be that some of the ones they fired, they were doing that to get rid of all that stuff. And he might have been one of them.
That's possible. Aiden English, not really surprised by him. He's not been on TV, and I couldn't tell you. He was the other vaudevillain guy that they kept.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know who the hell that was at first.
Rowan, that's kind of surprising, I guess, because he was recently on TV. Primo and Epico had no damn clue those guys were still there.
No.
Of course, we mentioned Maria and Mike Kanellis. I'm sure they'll probably go back to TNA or wherever they were at before. No Way Jose. You were surprised by that one, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that has a 20-minute long ring entrance and gets in there and gets killed in like 30 seconds. I can't believe I didn't keep him.
Yeah. So, let's see. Rusev, we talked about that. That was one that's kind of surprising. Deonna Purrazzo, she was just on TV. Is like, you notice Raw lately they're doing more like jobber matches, or not really jobbers, but NXT people that are on there that basically are jobbers. I mean, they're signed and everything, but they're like, okay, here's the next victim of who was it, the War Machine or whatever they're called.
Well, I mean, you remember for a long time they took that away. Like they really didn't have matches like that, but they're starting to, for some reason, redo the glory days of jobber matches. I can't remember the reason why they didn't want to do that. There's some reason,
and I'm not totally against that. Yeah. Well, I think it all started with Nitro. Whenever Nitro got popular, they started doing actual pay-per-view matches on TV for free. And at the same time, Raw had like Thurman, Sparky Plug, and the 1-2-3 Kid versus Money Inc. as the main event or something like that.
I miss those days, man, where everybody had a job, like a plumber and hockey player. All that
I
shit.
Remember, like, I still to this day hate Bob Holly just because like he had that gimmick. What was it? He said, "My friends, they call me Sparky."
I forgot about that.
Or something like that. It was like STP were the initials too. Sparky Thurman Plug. Oh my god!
I still think that one shit was fucking hilarious and ridiculous. How do you like me now?
I never did like Bob Holly. I'm sorry.
What was that?
My friends, they call me Sparky.
Oh god!
Cassius Ohno was another one that was released. He was just in NXT. That's poor son of a bitch moved from NXT to NXT UK. He moved over to the UK because I hadn't seen him in a while. I was like, I didn't know he was still there.
There seems to be a real randomness to who they released, though, man. Like, I don't know. I'd love to know what the rhyme or reason behind all that was.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of WWE guys released. If I was AEW, have you watched it?
I don't think I've watched a single match
yet. I know I'd asked you a couple weeks ago.
Oh shit!
Connection sucks.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if I was AEW, I would pick the Anderson and Gallows. I would get Sarah Logan. I would get Rowan just because they can put him with the Brody Lee character or whatever. And other than that, Rusev, of course. But the bad thing about Rusev is he's got to completely change his name.
That's true. I mean, once they leave, all them guys, I don't think any of them have the rights to any of the names they use.
Anderson and Gallows do.
Do they own that?
Hmm.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I got off light. Here's an idea for you, though. Here's an idea. Here's what they should do. You bring Rowan in, right? And you have him come out and he starts cutting like black and white vignettes. And then he says he's the new Dark Order. He's going to challenge the existing Dark Order.
No, he is the White Order.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But that's the downside of Rusev is he's got to use probably his real name or come up with a different character. Yeah. So let's see what we've got over here. We are taking questions as well. Indie Phantom. He said, I'm not sure if I heard you guys discuss the recent Halloween and the upcoming sequels. We did talk about it kind of briefly. I don't know if you did. Did you mention it very much? When I know I said that I liked it, the Halloween 18.
Yeah, we just talked about it in passing of like movies from the last, I think, 5 or 10 years, but I don't think we've talked about the sequel or anything like that at all. There's not really anything to talk about yet, though, other than it's called Halloween Kills, and when the hell did I don't know when it comes out, but it's within the year, supposedly.
I think it was supposed to come out this fall, I believe, but I don't know if that's still going to happen. a lot of those the big budget movies that were supposed to come out this summer, they delayed those an entire year. Because some like the summer blockbuster movies that people typically go and check out. So I think the Fast and the Furious movie with John Cena in it, they had to delay that because they want that to make billions of dollars.
It will too. Sure.
John Cena is Vin Diesel's brother in it.
What?
Never mind that Vin Diesel's like black or half black or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they could say like, John Cena's like half brother or something.
I guess that's just whatever. Lord. Okay. So I never did get an answer out of you though, really. Did you actually like the Halloween 2018 movie? Because I think it's one of those movies that gets better every time you watch it, which is weird.
I enjoyed it. It's nothing like there's nothing groundbreaking going on with it, but I like the homages to the original movies, like the first couple. And I like the music in it. I like the cinematography in it. I like the kills in it. It was almost like a Friday the 13th Halloween movie. That's the way when I saw it the first time. And after all the bullshit that we've been thrown at, like as far as the Halloween franchise has been thrown over the last 10, 12 years or so, I'll take a movie like that any day. They can make sequels that's like that, and we'll be fine. As long as they stay away from like Halloween Resurrection was awful. Like, I don't know. I remember that was one of the first big movies. It's just right before Dead Pit that we went to see, where I'd wished that we would have recorded our thoughts on that because we were so pissed off after we saw it. It's so stupid. I hate Busta Rhymes too, by the way. Oh God.
Yeah, that whole movie was all. It's one of those movies I tried to go back and watch again, and it was like you can't do it. I don't know the way it was produced and what they were trying to do, like selling out everything. It was just you cannot watch it now. It's like Jason X in a way. Like I could probably watch Jason X more so than I could that, but still, it's got a look to it that's just like super generic, and just the studios at that time.
Yeah, I think like the Dimension era, when Dimension was doing all of the Halloween movies, it was bad. So let's go see what other comments we got over here. The last one is Halloween Ends. So yeah, we all know that it's never going to end. They'll be making Halloween movies when everyone in this chat room's dead. They'll still be making them.
God damn, that's grim. Which might be soon. Oh,
that's true. Yeah, we may not last very long. Let's see here. That's a funny comment right here. Wanted to include this. Oh, hell yeah, you shitbirds are all the way live.
That's nice.
Yeah. Joe Bob Tarheel says, fuck no way, Jose. Hey! He was just a fun character that wanted to party and dance and shit. His idol was
Adam Rose.
Yeah, Adam Rose.
I was like, why the fuck are they recreating the same gimmick with just a different guy?
I don't know. That was bad. Let's see here. This is a good way to segue into Tiger King. If the Tiger King started wrestling, what do you think his finisher would be?
That's a good question.
I would call it the 69er Tiger Driver.
I call it the Baskin Basher.
Ask one of them kids what Tiger King's finisher would be.
I don't think they know what the hell I'm talking about. None of them watch Tiger King.
Well, ask them who. Let's see what's popular nowadays. The Tiger. What's that show? The Daniel Tiger. What's his finisher? They know who that is.
What the hell? I don't know what a finisher is, though. What?
If Daniel Tiger, the little claymation version of Daniel Tiger, or whatever it is now, wanted to beat a mean kid's ass, how would he do it? That's how you.
Hey, Tiny.
Good.
Here you go. Tiny. She was in here, and then she just disappeared.
Does she know that she's named after Zeus?
Yeah, that's what I named her after. Tiny.
What?
If Daniel Tiger wanted to beat somebody up, what would he do?
Probably scratch him.
Scratch her?
Where would he?
Well, can I answer?
Ask her what Daniel the Tiger would do to the Tiger King.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, Tiny.
If Link were to beat someone up, what would he beat them with?
If Link from Zelda wanted to beat somebody up, what would he beat him up with? That's what she wants to know.
Probably a sword or any kind of weapon that he has.
Well, what I would do is this is the way I fight. As I would use the boomerang to freeze them, and then I'd beat the crap out of them.
A sword or
a frozen boomerang.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Freeze them with the boomerang, and then start beating the crap out of them.
I don't even have it. That's not even a thing.
Tiny.
What?
Okay. Favorite.
Notice how I'm saying crap now because the kid. My lighting's going down here.
Oh, Terry.
Jesus, that's okay. Good job, Time. Pipe, favorite horror film?
Actually, mine is Jason and Carrie.
I didn't know they made a movie together. Jason versus Carrie?
Yeah, Jason versus Carrie versus Ash.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, God, here she comes.
I would probably say...
brother.
I actually have two. I would say Child's Play and Freddy versus Jason. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All
right, Tiny. All right. Grown-ups are doing stuff. Go.
It's the Tiny Show.
Oh, and also, you guys talking about need to ask you a question. Okay. What would Voldemort from Harry Potter beat someone up with?
Okay, you got to send that kid on. I'm not listening to Harry Potter.
I know that.
This is a horror show. We don't talk Harry Potter.
I'm not sure, Time.
I have a question.
Oh, God, what?
The first Jason movie, first ever Jason movie, or maybe one of the first, I think. Was Jason the killer or was his mom the killer?
His mom. Good job, Piper.
Horror question.
Tiny, get off the treadmill, get out of here. What the hell are you doing?
I'm working out, dude.
No.
I'm working out.
Oh, God, the cat's going to pull the thing out of the treadmill. Cat's doomed.
Okay. You got a treadmill in your horror room?
So mean.
Yeah.
Daddy told me to.
Pipe.
I can't get it.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 seconds.
Oh, my Lord.
You get a glimpse into Uncle Bill's life on this special show.
I'm just waiting for somebody to get hurt.
You got
Go.
busted.
Tiny.
You
1,
got busted.
2 1/2, 2 3/4.
Get in here. What is wrong with you?
Okay.
I need that thing.
You got to count. That's the key.
Tell them it's time to
figured
go
that
to bed. Tell them it's time to go to bed or Jason's going to get them.
They wouldn't be scared of that at all.
Okay.
It's really weird.
What we're talking about, I can't.
I have no idea.
Let's see. Here here's a blast from the past. It's right here. Look here. Schlog.
Shit.
You remember Schlog?
I remember Schlogs.
Good to see you again, sir. Let's see. Here's a good one. This is a good fun. We're going to talk about Tiger King though, real quick. I did watch Tiger King.
Did you?
So we can do a brief review of that. Like it was okay. It was good. It was fun, I guess. But maybe it's just where we live in Eastern Kentucky. A lot of those people really didn't seem like characters that much to me. They look like somebody that you'd see at Wool Creek.
That's true. It's like everybody that exists in Oxford.
Yeah, I mean, the Tiger King, he was kind of a character. Like, we don't see too many like him. He reminds me of Diamond Dallas Page right when he first broke into wrestling a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it, but, I don't really get what the big deal is with it.
I think it was just the perfect show to come along when it did. Everybody kind of like being stuck inside, and you needed something to completely distract you, and everything about that show was just like totally insane. Each episode, it's actually a really good distraction.
Right. So Eric Hansen, this is a good one right here, and I'd have to really think back on this because I can't remember.
I can think of a couple. Like,
dude, I was going back on a hard drive that I had that had all of our shit on it. I legit could not remember most of these interviews that we did. I was like, we interviewed Zach Galligan? Don't remember that at all.
Yeah, we did. And it wasn't great either.
No, that wasn't a good interview. And I remember I saw Sherry Moon Zombie on there and I was like, yeah, that's right. We did interview her.
That is probably my number one, just like, if there's anything, okay, if it's entertaining, if an interview's entertaining, it really doesn't matter what the hell anybody says in it or what kind of questions there are or anything. But that was probably one of my least entertaining interviews because she had nothing to say about anything. She had nothing to add to anything. I don't think whatsoever that she was into horror or anything we were talking about. And the main point of it from her perspective was to plug that Total Skull shit that she was doing at that time.
Yeah, that's how we got in contact with her.
I just remember being like, even during the interview, I was like, this is going to be shit. Like about, 10 minutes into an interview, you could always tell. Yeah. It's just going to go,
But it was good in the fact that, hey, it was kind of a bigger name at the time, I guess. It was Rob Zombie's wife. So, yeah. I mean, and it was brief. It wasn't very long. Joe Dante was one that I remember, kind of popped up in my head. He was just Sherry Moon she was nice at least. Yeah. Joe Dante was he didn't give a shit. And he was it was very brief, short answers. You could tell he didn't want to do it. And that was one that I thought of.
I don't understand why he did that interview. Because like you said, you could tell
the Masters of Horror were doing a lot of press, and that's how we got a bunch of those guys.
Now that you mentioned that, didn't we fucking interview James Wan
twice?
Did. Was it once or twice?
I know of at least once that we interviewed him.
And I'd forgotten about that until you said Masters of Horror, but we did interview him. Mm-hmm. And we interviewed Mick Garris.
Mick Garris.
He was also in that.
I can't think. Most of them were really good interviews that we did, though. I can't really think. I know the Gary Clark one lasted for hell and ever.
That's the one that I could always.
Nice,
Yeah, he was great. I wouldn't say anything bad about it, but it was 3.5 hours long, and we only needed probably 15 minutes.
One of our best ofs that we did. Axlish used to help us out a lot with the show. Eric Kent was his name. And he was one that really, he was play that whole Gary Clark interview. And I'm like, I can, but it's I don't know if anybody would want to hear all that. Because literally halfway into it, you can hear me and Uncle Bill eating breakfast. I was eating pancakes.
It was
man. I was like, God, when is he going to get to start talking about, stuff? This is a horror radio show, right? He did Day of the Dead, one of the biggest George Romero movies ever, and it literally, he does not start talking about it until hour and a half in, something like that.
And I remember at the beginning of it, this is when I knew we were in trouble, though, is when he was like, I'm just going to start talking, and then y'all can figure out if what you want to use. And then he just started talking about everything in his life with no consideration for anybody listening, really.
No. Let's see. Let's continue on here, though. That was a good question, though. That brought me back there. If only for a day. Let's see. Indie Phantoms talking about Sam Raimi has a new anthology series on Quibi. It's free for 90 days and 50 days. I'm not interested. I've got enough streaming shit. I'm not going to, even if it's a trial run, no. We've got Netflix. We hardly ever watch Netflix.
It's true.
You're not interested in QB either?
No, I'm not interested in QB or QB2. Hyper QB.
Let's see. Got a bunch of comments from the girls who are in there talking about the Carrie versus Freddie and all that good stuff. Let's see. That was a good interview. We'll mention him real quick because he's no longer with us. Steve Dash. That was a very, very fun interview. Good guy too. Really good guy. He had actually, I think he walked around the convention. We finally met him with his machete. He had his machete, and he was like, "I've been looking for you." And stuck his machete out. You remember that one?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I just remember him talking shit about Warrington Gillette throughout that whole damn thing, which was the best thing ever.
Yeah, he was not a fan of Warrington Gillette, that's for sure. Let's see. This is another one now that was weird. The interviews.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that, actually.
Yeah. So, that guy, it was almost like he was from another planet or something, man. Like, I'm sure he'd done a lot of drugs back in the day.
I didn't feel bad about that, though, after I heard what the experience that Felsher had doing an interview with him was like, which was basically the same experience we had.
Yeah, and he'd warned us about ever trying to reach Jackie Kong as well, the director of Blood Diner.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Never reaching her.
Yeah, we're fine with that. Indy Phantom's got a couple more Carpenter interviews. Great interview. Angus Grimm as well. We had a lot. Like George Romero was another one that was it was just an amazing experience.
I swear to God, man. I'm going to kill this cat. I don't even like cats. Just to let you know, I didn't want this damn cat, but I had to buy it. Keep the peace.
It probably was not very cheap either, was it?
No. I'll kill you.
You get you a bottle of bait and get a cat from town, man.
What the hell is this cat even doing?
It's in heat, maybe.
Maybe. It's acting crazy. Anyway, you ever, though, think about some of those interviews and wish that you knew, like, for instance, like, there's a ton of stuff now that I know about Carpenter and stuff and different stuff that he's into that I probably would have interjected into the interview if we did it now as opposed to back then. Like, there's several people like that, I think, that I wish we could kind of redo the interview because, like, I've either watched more of their stuff or read more about them or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean, looking back, there's always, and the thing is like, it would be very, very difficult to get a lot of those people that we got back then now. Of course, a lot of them passed away, but the ones that still with us, like Carpenter, like that'd be borderline impossible, I think, to get an interview with him now.
Yeah, I never see that happen. And the one that really got away that I wish we would have done was Craven.
We come very close.
We tried. Yeah, and we almost got him, but like that's just not going to ever happen.
And we had Toby Hooper. We had talked to him on email. He had actually responded to one email out of like 50 that we'd sent, but we never did. Both of those guys, their excuse was they wanted something to promote before they would do any sort of interviews or anything. Toby Hooper, God bless him. Mortuary was the last, feature-length movie that I know that he did, and that
Who was it? who was it that said they would do an interview if we would promote like the movie, but it was like a total piece of shit? Was it Mortuary? Or was it somebody else?
No, it wasn't more. And we would have jumped on the Toby Hooper thing regardless. Like, even if we could only talk to him about Mortuary, because that would be funny.
There was somebody, it might have been Bruce Campbell or somebody like that was like, I'll do an interview, but I'm only going to talk about the new movie.
Danny Steinmann's another one. I'm trying to scroll through all these. Danny Steinmann, like, here's the thing. There were some people that are dickheads in person, and the interviews are really great. I'm not going to say Danny Steinmann was a dickhead in person, but he was definitely not one of the nicer individuals we've ever dealt with. But on the phone, he was great. Same thing goes for Tom Savini. He was great on the phone. I don't know what happened to him at conventions, if he just gets pissed off or what.
I think the best way I could explain Danny Steinmann was like curmudgeon. Like, he was just a hateful. I don't even know how else to explain it. Like, he's just an old man that was hateful.
He really was. Let's see. There was another one I wanted to mention on here, Indy Phantom. This was a really great interview as well.
Get up here. If you'll just shut up. Come on.
The Bob Clark interview, which was just like less than 5 months before he passed away, I think. And it was to promote the Black Christmas Blu-ray. I think it was the Blu-ray that came out. And we were just, typically what we would do when we did interviews, we would just bullshit with him for at least 3 or 4 minutes before we did the interview. And he said, oh, I've got a Christmas Story on here in the background watching it. And he was, it was just a fun, like, holy shit moment that we got to interview him.
I think a lot of people had forgotten about him, and at least forgotten about, he's one of the rare people that had 3 different classic films in 3 different genres.
Mm-hmm.
Porky's, Black Christmas, and Christmas Story.
Mr. Bombastic. I'm not sure what this is. You guys used to talk about a crazy story that involved a Scream Queen at a convention. Any chance we can hear about that?
Scream Queen at a convention?
I'm not sure. Like, I figured you might remember what that is, but I don't. That's not springing any bells.
I mean, there's a million different stories about Scream Queens or people at conventions, but I can't think of which one it would be.
Me neither. We might have to revisit that at some point. If Mr. Bombastic has any other memories about what we were talking about.
Yeah, if there's some that would like clue us into what it is exactly. I'm gonna fuck it. I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna take his cat back there and flush it down the fucking toilet.
I think we've about got all the questions. Let's see.
Ugh.
So I was just going to do a brief show to make sure everything works okay with this. But we can let Uncle Bill pet on his pussy a little bit and get out of here. But if all goes well, which it should, hopefully we'll do a little collection showcase maybe sometime this weekend coming up if you're down, Uncle Bill.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff I'd like to show off.
We ain't got shit to do either. It's not like we can't even hardly go to Walmart. Well, we can go to Walmart alone.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody checking the show out. And like I said, you can check us out online, DEADPIT.com, at DEADPIT on pretty much everything. And hashtag Eater of Ass. You can always follow us that way as well.
God damn it.
So we will catch you guys on the flip side and check out all of our great content and everything. We got 10 years worth of week to week shows on the original
.com.
End this broadcast now.